Oh, thank fuck I'm out of bronze. So after a week in the Bronze League, I am now motivated more than ever to stay in at least silver. We start our first race in silver at Mexico from P6. And the reason I did this intro down the straight is because it's so long that I've got the time. Coming down towards turn number 1, there's actually a pretty decent amount of space for us, so there's no... Okay, there is an issue. We've been tagged on the inside. We've had our floor and side pods damaged. And I might as well be in bronze. Oh, someone's absolutely been killed there. Heading down towards turn number 4, we get absolutely sent on and pushed off track for good measure, so we're going to do exactly the same back. Push them completely off-road. We have the inside line for the following corner, so hopefully we can get the place back, and we do indeed. Sector 2 isn't much better. We get pushed offline thanks to a curb, and it's basically bronze level chaos really. There's a car off track, someone behind me I'm pretty sure cuts the corner to get past me, and then gets an illegal overtake, so he gives it to us back, which is honestly pretty respectful. We miss our breaker point coming into the stadium section, and somehow we don't get dived up the inside, but yeah, first lap in silver. I kind of wish I was back in bronze. Once again, heading down towards turn number 4, we're under pressure from Lucas. We're going to go defensive D inside. He is going to somehow make contact with us, even though I left him plenty of room. But we're going to easily defend against him, and we're going to stay on the back of this 3-car squabble. The 3-car squabble gets even more aggressive as we head down towards the stadium section once more. We get bumped from behind thanks to, I think, Lucas. So, you know, this guy is really proving how good a driver he is. But with the floor damage and the side pod damage and just my general inability to drive this circuit, it's pretty hard to make moves, at least clean ones. Really, if I was going to make moves, I had to be desperate. So P9, P10 are going side by side down towards turn number 1. We've got P8 just ahead of them. We're going to go up the inside of P10. P9 absolutely sends it on P8 and gets a terrible, terrible line. We're going to go around as outside, but we don't have the traction on the exit of turn 3 because we don't have the confidence to put the floor down. Put the floor down? Put the throttle down. Do I record that again? Ah, fuck it. We're side by side, heading down towards turn number 4 for the 3rd consecutive time. We've got the inside line, and luckily the guy on our outside backs out of it. And, I was going to say something else, but I've completely forgotten. If you click on my videos for good commentary, then you've got incredibly low standards. And if you click on my videos for good driving, you've clearly never been here before. And if you haven't been here before, you should definitely subscribe. I do terrible commentaries on terrible videos with terrible driving ability. That's actually what the T in OTP stands for. The whole thing stands for on terrible pace, because I'm pretty consistent that way. Okay, back to the race at hand. We currently sit P9. We're sat behind Mogul. I don't know. We're not sat behind him anymore. That's a pretty easy move. Look, I might go back to editing later and see that name is not even close to what I just said. But I've got a very blurry screen, so I'm trying here. Once we got ahead, well, ahead of P8. The only issue we had was battling with the damage we had in our car, because we had the straight line speed, we definitely had the pace. It was just an inability to put traction down on the exit of corners. And you can see, despite having DRS, Mogul, I can't remember what I called you in the first clip, he doesn't have the pace, so he has to dive us, and this is just an absolute fucking shambles of a clip. I'm so sorry. It's a very intense clip, you know. We're battling. I've defended quite nicely. I've just absolutely butchered it on commentary. Oh god. I really should re-record that, but honestly, I'm just terrible at this. You know what? I genuinely think it's anxiety that I've got the name wrong, so I'm just gonna call him that guy from here on out. So we make it through the S section, and we're still under pressure from that guy. I can tell he's going to absolutely send it into the stadium section, so we just let him. We're going to get DRS down the main straight, and we're just going to sit behind him for this section. And you can see he tries to, I don't know, go defensive on the outside, but we quite easily cruise past him. And we give him the classic wheel wiggle of celebration, just to piss him off. It clearly worked though, because a few laps later we were able to just pull away from him. He wasn't really a threat. We were able to catch onto the back of Tim. That's a name I can definitely say that one. And with things actually starting to look up in this race, it all quickly came crashing down as my wheel disconnected. My wheel has never disconnected before, but it quickly came back, thankfully, and then disconnected again. So while the game was paused, the game pit me, which is honestly fine. It was my scheduled pit stop anyway. We come out in P12. things are looking a bit dire now. Coming up to lap 11, we're able to make some places up on pit stops, and we're back up into P11 before the wheel disconnects again, and at this point I just decided to say fuck it, I'll try again next race. So after fixing the wheel, you now join me in Italy for a very wet qualifying session. It went about as well as you'd expect. It started off well, and then I absolutely fucking bottle it on the exit of turn 5. So it's lights out and away we go from P17 off the line, quickly P16 as someone just doesn't move off the line, and then quickly up into P11 because there's an absolute fuckfest off the line. We have who I can only assume is Logan Sargent on our inside as we head down towards turn 1. We've got a little bit of space to work with, but there is predictably absolute fucking chaos, and we're getting squeezed and we're momentarily on top of someone. We just... You know what? No damage. We're just gonna carry on like that was completely normal. I guess for an online race that was pretty normal. If we're being honest, the only thing going from ahead after that interesting first chicane was that's going to be an incredible thumbnail. So after that interesting start, we currently sit P15, quickly P14 as we overtake a slow moving car. We have to let him back through because it was overtaken under yellows. I did know the second I passed him that I had overtaken him under yellows. It's nice to see the game's actually working well for once. On the exit of Ascari, and Roscoe, the guy ahead of me, takes a very audacious line through the exit of Ascari and basically cuts the entire thing, and we easily get him back. The only issue of having to overtake him before Parabolica was obviously we're going to be under pressure down the main straight. We're not going to use any ERS to defend, we're literally just going to let him pull alongside us up the inside, and we miss our braking point. I don't really have an excuse, that's just my incompetence showing. But hey, we made turn 1, and that is the cleanest I've taken the first chicane so far. Going through turn 3, we're right on the back of Roscoe. There's more retirements up ahead, so more position to be gained. We're going to take a very audacious dive at the inside of Roscoe. He has to avoid a ghost car, which he didn't need to avoid. We cut the corner, but somehow make up the position, and yeah, we're up into P9. I'll take it. It didn't take very long at all before I was on the back of P8 and within DRS range. I definitely had the pace for this race, which was a nice feeling. I don't often get that experience. We're able to use the DRS to just pull us closer to Obos. Sure. We're practically pushing him through turn 1 and 2. We get a little bit of a wiggle on the exit, but with Alba slipstream and a little bit of ERS, we're going to pull alongside him round the outside turn number 3. And so long as he's a clean driver, this should be a pretty easy move. Up the inside of turn 4, we miss our braking point, but you know what? We made the corner, we made the move. He tries to get back at us on the exit, but up into P8. Watching this back, I can't help but notice this is probably one of my best races on F1 23, and still every single move I make, it's just awful. Lap number 6, and we currently sit P6, and I don't have another reason to say 6, but we're going to come into the pit. The guy ahead of us, I'm pretty sure, gets a 5-second penalty because he overtakes someone coming into the pit. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him. Out of the pits we come, and we're on a fresh set of soft tyres, in P10, in clear air. And I definitely feel like I have the pace over most of these guys, especially when they're taking interesting lines over turn 1 like that. It only took us 1 lap to get right on the back of P9, and we're easily going to be in DRS and slipstream down the main straight. It looks like he doesn't even have the grip to hold the inside line at Parabolica. We're going to get alongside him already, even before DRS. He burns some ERS to pull ahead, but it's going to be an easy pass. There's not really a lot more to say. We absolutely obliterate him down the straight. We continue our absolute charge of champions by staying in DRS and getting the fast lap of the race. If that's not an advert for me being the quickest driver of all time, then I don't know what is. Hit subscribe. Heading down towards turn 1, it looks like it's going to be absolute chaos between the two guys ahead of us. We're going to have a Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton moment as they both end up in the gravel. There was also a random guy off that just spun off on his own. And before we know it, we've gone from P7 to battling with this guy for a podium. And as we head down towards turn 4, we've got the slipstream, we've got the pace. We're going to go up the inside into turn 4. He's going to defend quite nicely, and actually, to be fair, he's the first one to actually defend his position successfully. Fair play. Much like when I get a good qualifying though, his success doesn't last very long, as heading down towards Ascari, with DRS we absolutely cruise past him, actually get our braking point right for once, and we're up into P3. Over the next couple of laps we are very comfortable with our straight line speed advantage to just hold on to P3. However, coming on to the penultimate lap, I knew what position I wanted to be in at the end, so we're going to let this guy pass, and we're just going to sit behind him. We've got plenty of ERS to use. We know we've got the straight line speed advantage. We're just going to overtake him on the last lap. All we can do is pray that he's not going to take a swipe at us, and given how this guy's driven so far, I don't see it. However, one thing did happen. P1 absolutely bottled it with 1.5 laps to go. So before we know it, this battle was turned into a battle for P2. Heading down towards the penultimate corner for the final time, this is where things get serious. You can see he's trying to let me pass him. He tries to brake to get me across the DRS line before him, and honestly at this point I didn't know who had it. Regardless, I have to take him up the inside, and thankfully we get DRS, so I think I nailed that to perfection. And because he absolutely choked it, with our straight line speed advantage on top of DRS, we are comfortably safe heading down towards turn 1. And really for the rest of the race, that was it. We were able to burn ERS and we were just able to pull away from P3. So from P17 on the grid, we're going to take a P2, to which my engineer Mark obviously still wasn't happy with. We quite rightfully get driver of the day, I personally feel. And yeah, after being on top of a car at turn 1, we come home for P2, which I'd consider pretty successful. Obviously it would have been nice to get P1, but given how it was an Italian driver, I think it was safer for me to just be happy with P2.